Baggage Claim, a secret book club original. Part 1. The Tag. His hand was sweaty as he grasped the luggage tag and hurried behind her. Her scent was exhilarating to him. Pulling his small camera up slightly, he was able to record her as she moved through the terminal and down to the tight corridor. The tag fell from his hand, and he hurriedly snatched it up to shove into his blue jean pocket. He was enjoying her and didn't want her to move too far ahead. He felt a sly sense of accomplishment with her luggage tag sliding inside his pocket as he walked. He had taken it without her knowledge at baggage claim. This was not the first time he had done this, but it was by far the easiest. That tag was going to get him right where he wanted to be, near her. When he got home, he quickly went to work with the help of his new treasure. The tag supplied her name, address, and telephone number. It was just too easy. Within moments, he had her social media accounts up, along with a map to her doorstep. He found out where she worked, her favorite places, and what she would be doing the next day. The cat and mouse game was about to begin, but first he had to be camera ready. Being a photojournalist was the perfect guise to fly under the radar in almost any situation, so his credentials and multiple cameras loaded with film got him into and out of almost anywhere, without question. Part 2. The Hunt. He followed her for several days. He wanted to be near her, to learn her routines, to watch her. He restrained himself from going to her home. It wasn't time yet. The mood had not yet been set. But it was close. He first wanted to enjoy the hunt. He wanted to document his secret stalking of the days and nights in her shadow. Her name was Melanie. He said her name out loud repeatedly, while he pleasured himself to the hours of captured footage. The park, the gym, the club, the street. Melanie. Part 3. The House. When it was finally time to allow himself the first trip to her home, he was nervous. Not scared, but charged with adrenaline. Excited, as if it were a first date. He was only going to observe on this night. He would have to contain himself from anything more. With his camera and binoculars ready, he headed out. The night was crisp and misty as he roared across the bridge to the Northeast Exchange. He was going over her busy neighborhood in his mind, coming up with the best location to park and observe. Planning is everything. He made it in time to watch her leave for an evening with her boyfriend. Seeing them together only fueled his intensity. The men in the lives of the women he followed were always a welcome patsy. Two for the price of one, in a way. He followed them for hours that night, watching in the dark. Part 4. The Club. He checked her calendar to see where she would be. It was noon. He had slept in from the long night of tailing and filming. It was time to dress and prepare for the evening. The prowl would continue. Just a little longer. His eyes caught hers briefly at the bar. It was just after midnight. She wasn't aware of him or anything else except the music. He was aroused as she danced with her boyfriend. He was watching intently, imagining what her skin felt like. How soft were her lips? He wondered. He could not fight the urge to film her. It was loud and crowded and intoxicating. He watched her move through his lens. His impulses were growing, and there was little resistance in moving quickly to his next plan. Part 5. The Crack. It was less than 20 hours since he last saw her. He was compelled to be near her, so he impulsively relented. He drove fast, hypnotic, as the miles disappeared behind him. He was close. Hiding his car around the corner, he approached her slatted gate. Dogs barked in the distance. He lifted his camera to peer through the cracks. It was dark, but a dim light was seen just beyond the latch. He moved through the opening and past the bushes, down the narrow walkway. He could see the light teasing him from a crack in the blinds. The window was just about at eye level, so he moved his lens into view. The dogs were making him angry as he searched for her movement inside the small room. He couldn't see her. He left bitter because he did not receive the satisfaction that he was hoping for. He spent the rest of the night pacing and plotting. He was tired of waiting. Part 6. The Gloves. There was no time to wait. She had jilted him the night before. How could she not have been there for him to see? He knew that she had been home. It was unacceptable to him. These were the maddening thoughts that raced through his mind as he packed. He shoved a pair of gloves quickly into a bag, along with his old flashbulb camera and the rest of his supplies. It was time. The night was cool and traffic was light on the bridge as he drove. The dogs were still barking in the distance as he parked around the corner in front of the for rent sign. He was unaware of these things, however, because he was focused on her and her alone. She would no longer be a fantasy. Reality was set in motion as he made his way through the gate, down the path and up the stairs to her door. With gloved hands, he entered. He could hear her down the hall while he slipped quietly across the hardwood floors. It was dark except for the reading lamp she was using in her room. It was the third door on the left. He stood outside the door, listening to her read aloud. He knew she would never finish that book. Part 7. The Floor. She cried as his voice echoed in her head, like the whispers of 1,000 maniacs. He was relentless as he ripped her clothes and forced himself into her scrambling body. He whispered her name repeatedly during the torture. Melanie, Melanie, Melanie. He was lost in delirium as she flailed with futile attempts to escape. This is where his treasured tag had brought him. To her. To this moment. To this pinnacle of madness. Tightening the bag around her face, he could feel his deranged climactic release. Just as she took her last breath, he let out a moan of exhaustion and triumph. It was quiet now. Only the sounds of his own panting breath could be heard. He laid sweaty on the floor next to her. With pride and satisfaction, he arranged her to his desired position. He fixed her hair, he dried her eyes. She was now camera ready, and he took his parting photos. He smiled as he caressed her cheek. She was beautiful. Part 8. The Police. 2 blocks away, near the gas station by her gym, is where he made the call to 911. He reported a violent argument that he heard between a helpless young woman and her boyfriend. The police were on their way. It did not take long for the sirens to be heard. They were quick to arrive and find her lifeless body. He was unaware that her boyfriend had shown up just moments before the officers got there. Was it luck or just fate? He mused with a grin. He watched from a distance at first, but could not help himself from moving in closer. He was, after all, a photojournalist. His credentials would get him front row seats to his masterpiece. Part 9. The Watch. He watched as neighbors described her romantic but volatile relationship, how they were sure they had heard them arguing. The media was eating it up. He watched the onlookers attempt to decipher the chaos as they gestured and murmured to one another. He watched her boyfriend being loaded into the back of a police car. He watched the remaining officers wrap up the scene while yellow crime tape fluttered in the breeze. The front page headlines that he longed for were on their way. Part 10. The Next. The following morning, he packed for his trip. He was being sent out on a 4-day assignment. As he sipped his coffee and read the paper, he smiled to himself. His last tag was safely tucked away under his feet, in the floorboards of his kitchen, along with the others. As he boarded the plane, he felt the warm, familiar twinge of excitement starting to grow inside of him. He knew that when he got back, the next tag would be waiting for him at baggage claim. He peered out the tiny window to watch the clouds go by. As his heart raced with anticipation. Secret Book Club.